Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we're looking at X-treme X-men #2 by Claremont and Salvador Larroca, featuring this freaking awesome Jim Rugg variant cover. I am so happy I scored it. So this is what we're looking at today, guys. X-treme X-men. The hype is for real. Claremont is back. I think this book is so good. I really love it. It's a sequel to the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine miniseries from frickin' 1985 or whatever. So, totally fun book. Can't wait to share it with you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. Okay, so, as stated, so this is X-treme X-men. I think it's supposed to be a 5-issue limited series. I saw it listed online as an ongoing. I feel like, you know, I'm part of the Chris Claremont Facebook fan group, and he participates a lot. And, you know, of course, he's always, you know, hyping the book and wanting us to go out and buy it and support it, as we should, because, you know, as like an X-Men nostalgia person, someone who is like totally beholden to the Chris Claremont 17-year run on the book. I was there for pretty, like, a lot of it. I don't know. Not, like, all of it, but a lot of it. And I just love Chris Claremont's X-Men. It's amazing. You know, when he left, like, it was never the same for me. He came back a couple of times, and it was kind of hit or miss. And I feel like, with Gambit and now this, like, he is completely back. Like, it is so good, and I love it. And you guys totally should be reading this. It scratches that Chris Claremont itch. It is the X-Men as we know and love. It's funny because I feel like there are some differences, but I guess we'll get into that. But, so let's look at this cover. Let's uncover this cover. It is amazing. I love it. You know, as far as variants go, like, you know, I'm all for variants. Like, they were, like, ad nauseum in the 90s, but there's a lot of 90s nostalgia going on. And, you know, Jim Rugg has a Hulk Grand Design Treasury Size edition coming up soon. I'm so excited. Cannot wait for that. Hopefully I'll be able to do a follow-up interview with him to talk about that, because I feel like I have a million new questions. Anyway, definitely order that. If you guys know, you know, and you need to order it. Like, because it's such a great series, and Treasury Size is, like, where it's at with the great big art size. And along with his colleague, Ed Piskor, doing Cartoonist Kayfabe, who I owe a lot to, you know, sort of, like, writing the coattails with my own channel. I think they're an important voice in comics right now, and I'm glad they're doing what they're doing. And because of his whole grand design, I imagine that has created relationships with Marvel editorial, and which leads to, like, variant covers like this. And I think there are no more on the deck, but I think you should make more happen. Obviously, Hulk. I mean, come on, you should be all over that, Jim. Duh. So this is an homage to X-Men #1, the classic cover. You know, this is Ogun here, filling in for Magneto, and it's funny because in a way this is super simplistic, and it's kind of like at first glance unremarkable, but, and this is like an argument for physical comics as opposed to digital, because seeing it online, I was like, oh my god, that's so cool, I love it. Like, I just, like, it was kind of wacky because, like, it made no sense in a way, because it's the second issue homaging the first issue of the X-Men, and I feel like this extreme lineup is just so different and so, like, not like the original lineup, but that's kind of what makes it cool in a lot of ways. And Jim is obviously, you know, he's like such a great artist, cartoonist, but also like a packager, you know, like he's doing the packaging for the Hulk Grand Design Treasury Edition. And so he cares about the way it's being printed, the way it's going to look, and it's got this sort of like retro finish. So, because I feel like the cover of X-Men 1 had a very stark white background, if I do recall. I mean, it doesn't make sense, and it's amazing in like so many ways, and I love it, and I just think it's great, and I'm so glad I was able to score it. So there. Finally opening the first page, 5 minutes in, guys. Sorry about that. So here we have the little recap, and then we have the X-Men Dramatis Personae, which I always love, supplied by Chris Claremont. You know, I can just see the Art Adams, like, lineup here for an X-Men annual or whatever. But I'll take this, too. I mean, this is very kind of 90s or maybe early Zots with their recap. So we've got Chris Claremont and Salvador Larroca, Guru Effects, or wait, who is doing the colors? Color artist, Guru Effects. So, you know, as you recall, perhaps, as an original fan, love the logo, right, guys? They have changed the costumes a little bit, which I totally support. Like, you know, it's like, I feel like that's sort of in tradition with, you know, very much so with, like, Chris Claremont's run. I feel like a lot of times when a new artist would come on the book, you would get their versions of their costumes, and so that's kind of fun here. Some of them aren't as great or better or whatever, but I feel like they're kind of in line with the X-treme aesthetic. And we got Ro, Storm, I don't know, we're hot on the heels of the Gambit miniseries exploring young Ro and Gambit, and so I feel like that's still in Claremont's brain, and this is sort of his, you know, telling of the journey of Storm. And so she's going by Ro now, short for Aurora. I mean, that's cool. That's fine, whatever. It feels a little weird. I was thinking, like, because as much as I feel like Claremont is the voice for these characters, like, I feel like the voice is off sometimes, but then I feel like maybe it's just evolving. You know, like, if he had stayed on the book, because, I mean, you look at the stuff he did with John Byrne compared to Paul Smith and Dave Cockrum and Mark Silvestri, and I mean, I could go on and on, right, guys? And it's just all very different and evolutionary and sort of in line with, you know, he's very good with sort of matching up with his artists. Salvador Larroca's art looks amazing. One of my viewers, thanks for pointing out, I love when people share info like this, left a comment that I guess he's using a lot of the 3D rendering sort of modeling that a lot of artists are using, where it sort of just gives you the pose and you can do your style over it, but it gives it a little bit of an artifice. Like, it's funny because in a way it's like a backwards compliment, because I thought, oh, in the first video, it's like, oh, his art is improved. I feel like his anatomy is a little more on point. But then he's doing these, like, effects things. Whatever. I love it. It still looks great. Beautiful double-page spread. Frickin' Lockheed. Ogun looks amazing. This is, like, Rachel, you know, Rachel Summers, Phoenix, one of my favorites. Interesting lineup, right? So no Psylocke. I feel like she was part of the X-treme X-men. I did not follow X-treme X-men to the end, although I did like it. There's a lot of fun stuff going on here. Like I said, I'm so glad Rachel's here. Storm continues to evolve as a character under the guise of Chris Claremont, and I feel like, you know, we have to trust in him. It's fun to see Bishop. It's fun to see Sage. I love, like, these glasses. I don't know. It's so cool. It's, like, kind of Matrixy in a way, right? Maybe that's a little late trend, considering, I guess it's, like, 10 years after The Matrix. Maybe this came out. I'm not 100% sure. Rugg looks so good. I feel like Salvador Larroca, like, definitely owns certain characters on this book, and Claremont as well. You know, you could tell that, like, and I'm gonna name all of them. Never mind. They're all so good. But Sage and Storm and Rogue and Kitty and Bishop and Logan. Was Nightcrawler not part of the original lineup? Like, I feel like, here I go, guys. I'm going to have to dig that up. So what is happening here? This, a new Marvel event, Sins of Sinister. I'm totally down for, like, a Mr. Sinister comeback. This is so weird. I was thinking of this today, and I actually told my friend Sam J. Royale, master cartoonist, Dishoom, you know, I've covered his stuff. You guys need to buy his shit if you haven't. But anyway, I went to the comic book store, and usually I just feel sort of like, oh, I hope I find some old issue that I can afford, or, like, you know, one of my favorite old artists has done a variant cover or something exciting. And I don't know, like, seemed like a lot of great books on the shelf, and I felt pretty hopeful, you know? I hate the doom and gloom and the demise of the comic book industry. 2023, I think, is going to be a great banner year for comics. I think there's a lot of great stuff coming. There's so many great creative voices and art out there, and you know, this looks kind of fun. I don't know, Storm, Brotherhood of Mutants, Emma Frost, I don't know, Nightcrawlers. I don't know, this does look kind of different in a lot of ways, so should it be given a chance? Perhaps. Maybe it'll be good. I'm always hopeful when it comes to comics. I mean, as a comic book fan, if nothing else, do we not have to have hope? Isn't that the underlying, you know, conceit of comic books or whatever? It's like the underdog or the, you know, overcoming or whatever. The dark days, you know, it's not that bad, guys. There's a lot of good stuff. It's so funny. This character, I love, I don't know, it just like, this is just Claremont's writing really at its finest. You know, there's a lot. I've said this before, and it's definitely worth repeating, but, you know, it's like he knows how to navigate. And it's so funny because there is an aspect of maturity and seasonedness in the writing that really shows, like, he's very comfortable in the spaces which he writes, that he's just, you know, if not mastered, if not created on his own, but like mastered over the years, you know, such as like the mindscape of telepaths and just like, you know, like the language of fighting. And I don't know, it's just like, there's such great character development. There's, you know, just, I don't know, you know, what you always get with Claremont. But he always manages to put in the superhero goodness too. Like, let's face it. I mean, you know, it's like the art definitely is the main thing going on here, but Claremont is letting the art happen and somehow describe this amazing fight scene. You know, it's like, I think of like Wolverine and Silver Samurai by Paul Smith, and just like a lot of great fight scenes, because, you know, Claremont gets such great credit, as deservedly so, for, you know, great character arcs and development and relationships and, you know, grandiose, epic, sweeping stories and, you know, for better or worse, you know, intriguing subplots that sometimes may or may not get resolved. But keep on, you know, if this is a resolution of a subplot here, I want it. You know, and the stakes just keep getting higher. And that's what I'm, like, you know, it's no wonder, like, he's been such an important part of, like, the editorial force of Marvel, and how Marvel has always held on to Chris Claremont as just, like, one of their prized possessions. His writing is just so good. And this is such a great example of it. And I really love it. And this book just makes me very happy. And it just seems like a good time in comics right now. And it's nice to see Chris Claremont sort of have this creative resurgence in a way. You know, I mean, arguably it never left. I don't know. But I just feel like he's definitely on a upswing here. And this is such a great series for so many reasons. The least of which being this fucking amazing Jim Rugg variant cover, which I like. I feel like I like way more than I should, but it looks amazing. I love it. Like, they're just so cool. I mean, that Wolverine filling in for the Beast. Always in comics, giving you something that you didn't know you needed, and you're getting it anyway. So much fun. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I will bring you more later.